Chris Galsway here with
Matt Howell.
And featuring super special guest Jamal Malachi Ford-Bey. If any longtime listeners of the show will know, Jamal is the composer of our theme songs and some of the other incidental music that we have played throughout the years on this show. Jamal, thank you so much for joining us. How have you been?
It's been a fun ride. I'm happy to still be here, and I'm even happier, as I said before, that you guys are still here. Every once in a while, I'll jump in and I'll give a listen, especially when it's a good movie. I know how hard that is, too. When I just want to see your opinions on it and see if they mesh or if it's going to be a cage match.
Fair enough. Well, that's always good. So this week on the big show, Matt, Jamal, and I are going to discuss James Gunn's Superman. After the failed Snyder-verse, Warner Brothers attempts a lighter, not-so-dour reboot for the DC Cinematic Universe. Does Gunn pull it off and deliver a rollicking, adventure-filled reset? Does Gunn at least get Superman? And most importantly, am I happy? Then there's the periwinkle-esque Kryponite. That is a real thing. That is the big releases on... Well, not a real thing, but it's a thing in the comics. The big releases on physical media, featuring your streaming and Viper video picks of the week. And then the Justice Gang continues here with horror madness when we try and pick out the best and ultimately the best horror films from 2010 to 2019. Let's start everything off, though, with a clip from Superman.
So this guy just flew into Midtown and started attacking people, demanding for Superman to show up?
Yeah, it's all there in my article.
And I'd actually have to make it through your writing, Clark. Knowledge is worth many sacrifices. That isn't one of them.
Ha ha ha, very funny, Lois.
Oh my God, it's so fine.
22 people in the hospital, over 20 million in property damage. It does make you wonder.
Wonder what?
As great as he is, maybe Superman didn't completely think through the ramifications of the Bravia thing.
Well, if this guy is even from Bravia.
What do you mean? His name is the Hammer of Bravia.
Yeah, I doubt his parents named him that, Jimmy. We have no clue what his actual goal was here.
I think it's pretty obvious the goal was kicking Superman's ass.
Or he didn't completely kick Superman's ass.
Pretty thoroughly, Clark.
Pretty thoroughly, Clark. Matt, what is Superman all about? I mean, all the way back from the 30s with Simon and I want you to go really granular with this thing. No, you can.
Or not, no. Yeah, so basically it's, Superman's been around for a good number of years at this point. He is, 3 years. Yes. Thank you, Chris. He's been around for 3 years. And, he goes up against a villain, as you heard, the Hammer of Bravia, that, manages to kick his butt. And that's where it starts in media res, right? As the aftermath of his said butt kicking. And essentially it's him basically trying to figure out what Lex Luthor's up to, juggle this, conflict in, Bravia, and basically, what does it mean to be a good person? Is he a person? Does he have rights as an alien, as a non-human? And, is his decision making, the right course of action at all times? So it's really wrestles with some, heady themes while at the same time being a lot of punching of people and eye-beaming and Crypto being a dog.
I was kind of excited for Crypto. I got to tell you, even Mrs. First Run has been very excited for Crypto. Mm-hmm. So, she didn't go with me to see this, but she definitely, hopefully will be checking it out. There's a couple scenes that maybe aren't really her speed, but if I give her enough warning, we should be all set there. But, Matt, so, Jamal, Superman, I guess, Jamal, I'll ask you first. How did it work for you? Does Gunn pull this reboot off? Are you excited now for this new DC expanded universe, or should Snyder have allowed to make Justice League 2?
It's a tough one. If you go back and you watch Snyder's original version, which is now you can do with Man of Steel, which I wasn't a big fan of. I liked elements of the film. I think he's a great visual guy. The story wasn't there. When I saw BVS The Ultimate, it was better than what was released in the theater. Still wasn't interested in that story. When they got to the final film, Justice League, once again, the original theatrical release wasn't as cohesive, I can't say as good, as cohesive as the Snyder cut. The problem was he was attempting to build a world in chapters, and there was no completed story to sit with and enjoy and then wait for another story. You were literally forced to wait for the next movie to hopefully complete the story. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think my big contention I've always had with Snyder's version is that he doesn't get Superman.
Oh, no. To answer that, I'm sorry I rambled. No, you got somebody who is just angry, and rather than learn by the time we meet him, oh, hey, you know what, you can let this go, and I've got more things than this and more power. It shows the almost bright burnification of Superman. You are almost watching Zod. You know, the John and Martha Kent are more like, let this world burn, rather than you can be a good person and here are the things that you can do for good.
Matt, where do you fall on this?
Full disclosure, I have been on the show for a long time. Chris is much more the DC person of the two of us. I'm much more of the Marvel guy. That's what I grew up reading. So I'm going to flat out say that I don't have like a deep history with Superman, right? But that being said, I'm very familiar with the Christopher Reeves movies. I'm familiar with All-Star Superman, which is, I think, partly the inspiration for this, right? And I think overall, it gets Superman a lot better than Snyder did. I think there is a lot more heart to this, right? It is a little corny at times, but Superman's supposed to be corny. I mean, he is a bit of a cornball and he is a bit of an idealist, right? I think I appreciate them kind of dealing with some of these questions that they never really ask. And I think, at first, when this started, I was kind of on the fence with it. I didn't love it as it was starting off. I thought it was weak, right? But then as it kind of moved forward and he got into his interpersonal relationships, and especially I think when this thing really slams home is when he goes back home to Smallville, right? And I think that's really when the whole thing really all coheses, it becomes cohesive and comes together and really kind of shows you all the things that you want to see. And I think at that point on, it really is a selling point, but little uneven, but overall I was pretty happy with it.
I'll say it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's big, but at least it's about something, which is part of the issue I've had with a lot of the MCU films for the past 5 to 8 years, though Thunderbolts being the exception. I think this is the best Superman film since the original in 1978. I think it has a true emotional core, unlike a lot of the DCU Snyder stuff does, or even some of the MCU stuff. I almost teared up twice watching this thing. It is the most human, I think, of all the Superman films, perhaps even more so than the 78 version. I think part of the issue of the 78 version is that, if I'm being honest with myself, the last half quarter, it's just, when he turns back time, all that stuff, it's never really sat well with me. But the first, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes of the 78 Superman is peak, I think, perfect filmmaking. It doesn't, I don't know if it holds up all the way through, but I still love it. But for me, it's the Superman I've been waiting for since Reeves. And I think Corn Sweat nails it. I think he knocks it out of the park with his Superman performance. I like having a lower powered Superman. I like one that's beatable. And for me, for Corn Sweat, it's not just the aesthetic. I mean, he looks the part. I mean, my wife is like, oh, that guy even looks like Superman. And he does. But it's the performance, it's the heart, it's the earnestness. There's a couple moments, there's two big moments in the film that really stood out to me when it came to the emotional parts of it. Like Matt said, there's the return to Smallville. To another part too, when I really felt it, was when he's rescuing that woman on the bridge as the building is coming down. And then the building finally collapses and the bridge collapses and he kind of rises from the dust and she looks and sees him in the mirror and all that stuff. And then when he says to Lois too, talking about Krypto, he isn't even a very good dog, but he's out there alone and scared and I have to find him. And that is for me, the perfect distillation of the Superman that I grew up with, that I've always loved and I've been waiting to see in a movie now for 20 years. I mean, the Superman Returns film it's just, I understand what they were going for, but that's a very flawed film. And Routh is kind of doing an impersonation of Reeves, or Christopher Reeve, excuse me, I keep saying Reeves, doing an impersonation of Reeve, but it just never really gets there for me. This one, though, I don't know. I was very, very, very pleased with it. I have a lot more to say, but I've been talking for a while. Jamal, what do you think?
So, you bring up Superman Returns. In retrospect, aspects of that film, like the roof scene with the machine gun, phenomenal. When Metropolis is being attacked and he does all the things that show off his power set, also very good.
Well, the plane rescue.
The plane rescue
for me, the highlight of that film.
So since Superman 2, the plane rescue has been one of the here's the potential of what Returns could have been, and here's what I would have loved to have seen more of in Snyder's Superman film. The stakes of the people are on the plane. That scene for me, had it come later in the movie and they had concentrated less on other things, if you had just rearranged a few things with that film, it would have been more legendary. Once again, I understand what you said, what they were going for.
Yeah, but another thing too, it's just that movie is him just lifting heavy things.
Yes.
I know the sequel is supposed to be with Brainiac and have a lot more action, but still.
And it suffers from the same thing that the Snyder films for me suffered from. Hey, wait till you see the next thing. What Gunn did, while it feels like a lot, was he went, you know what, just in case I don't get anything else, here's everything. I have things I can build on, but I'm not going to leave anything out for you to go, oh, well, I have to wait for the next movie to see this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the Gunn film, there's probably going to be some 3-hour extended cut that comes out on digital, where some things are fleshed out or allowed to breathe. But unlike the others, where they were like, oh, we're going to hold this back for the next film, and that first film just isn't. It's in some cases not good and doesn't justify a sequel. This is just short enough and just gives you enough where I'm like, I don't know how deep we're going to spoilers, but that last bit at the end, I can't wait for that next film to come out. Even though it wasn't really supposed to be a super introduction to it, I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
But, no, I like what the film did. I agree, I like Corn Sweat Superman. Mr. Terrific was a standout for me, too. I did like Lois. I do wish that they did more, I know it sounds crazy, reporting and kind of balance out the reporting and a little bit more story, but I kind of got some of the action in the Superman I was expecting to see. I read the comic Birthright. This follows along with that. I'm also a huge Silver Age fan, because in the Superman comics I initially started reading, John and Martha Kent are both gone. It's not taking care of Ma Kent. He loses both of them. It was only in the 80s when they kind of retroed it to where it was, 70s to where it was still Ma Kent. And then the 80s and 90s where it was Ma and Pa Kent. And then when the Brainiac book came out is when you lost Pa Kent in the late 90s, early 2000s. So Ma and Pa Kent being around is like a Superman and Lois era thing for me. But they were great in the film too. Sorry, I'm rambling now.
No, that's good. Matt, let me ask you then too. Jamal brings this up, and that's one of the things I was a little concerned about. Is I think it's exceptionally fast paced, and I think that sometimes is the film's detriment. I don't know if it gives itself a little time to breathe every now and then to really kind of focus on some particular scenes. So I'm curious if you thought that. And the other thing too, I'm wondering how you feel about, because I think at times this thing really leans into the Silver Age stuff. Mm-hmm. Gets a little corny. Pocket universes, space rifts, an anti-proton river. Right? So I don't know. How do you feel about the pacing? And then what do you think about the corniness, Silver Agey stuff that he seems to really lean into here?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll answer your second question first. I mean, I think the corniness of the Silver Age stuff, right, and the kind of techno babble and things, as a fan of Star Trek, I've learned a long time ago just to accept it and move on, right? Just that's how it works. But I think it's a marked, concerted effort to kind of distance himself from the Snyder-verse, right, which was very dark, very serious, very muted, very quote-unquote, mature. and that's fine, and that's the way Snyder wanted to make his films, but, I think this is essentially like a 180 from that. He wants to show, okay, this is something very different than what you've seen before, and I'm okay with that, right? I thought it was fine. I mean, I think Superman works better as something extremely corny. I'm less tolerant of that in my Batmans, right? I don't like a campy Batman, but a corny Superman I'm okay with. I think you're right. It is a bit overstuffed at times, right? I mean, I think there's a lot more in there than maybe it needs to be. Maybe it could have been a little bit more streamlined, but I think they're trying to do a lot of like laying the groundwork so they don't have to do it again, right? So I think they are, even if they don't come right out and say things, I like how they drop little hints and things like that, stuff that you can pick up on later. We'll see what comes back around, assuming, however many more films are just going to be in this. But yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, as someone who's used to comic books and that kind of storytelling, it didn't really bother me. I will say there were a few touches that I did really appreciate. I do appreciate them. I'd be curious to see how you felt about this, Chris. Them explaining the glasses, right? The point of the glasses,
Hypno
and why
glasses.
nobody recognizes him as Clark Kent. It's because his glasses are like Kryptonian technology that like prevents people from recognizing him. I thought just the fact that they addressed it, I loved it. But I don't know if you, as the super nerd, really loved that or not, or which reaction to that was.
I thought it was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. I think there was I think Jamal, like you said, to Birthright. There was something about the glasses where it made it dulled how blue Superman's eyes are. That was like the whole point of those. But I loved all the little Silver Age nods, and I think Superman needs to be a little corny. He has to be. That's the whole thing. Having a dour, miserable Superman trying to justify his presence, and we do get a guy who's trying to figure out as an immigrant, as someone who's not really is not human, how will he kind of traverse that and deal with all that stuff? And I think the film handles that really well. I think it's also exceptionally prescient. I think it captures this time, unfortunately, exceptionally well as well with a lot of stuff we're dealing with here domestically in the U.S. And I think one of the great things about the film is it provides hope again, which is the whole point of the goddamn character from the jump. All right, that's the reason for his existence, and I was very happy about that. I think it does a good job of introducing the new DCU. So we get Mr. Terrific, we get Hawkgirl, we get Guy, we get Supergirl. I guess Jamal was what you were referring to earlier.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a spoiler. There's a couple little things in there peppered in too, like the Hall of Justice. I guess on the paintings and the roof or on the ceiling, there's a bunch of other heroes.
It's like
there.
Wildcat. It's like the Justice Society was on the ceiling in there.
Yeah, exactly. Metamorpho obviously shows up. So, from what I understand too, there is a grander plan, but we're going to get more of that in Peacemaker season 2. That he was very focused on trying to tell more, establish that everything exists, and then just tell a Superman story. And that Peacemaker season 2 is when we're going to start, planting seeds for stuff down the road. So, it's good. I think for me, oddly, the two best scenes for me are probably the interview in the beginning between him and Lois. I love how Corn Sweat shifts from his Clark voice to his Superman voice as the interview starts, but then kind of goes back and forth a little bit as he gets a little frustrated. And like Matt said, again, I already talked about it, was the Smallville thing too. How about Holt as Luthor? I think it's nice having a classic villain. Mm-hmm. He's not morally ambiguous like a lot of the MCU villains are, where if you think about it, maybe in a way they're right, but they just go a little too far. No, he's just evil, right? And it's nice to kind of have that kind of traditional villain. He's a broken man who's kind of just like given into his psychopathy, just pickled his brain by ambition and ego, and just evil. And he's a nice kind of fun outsized version for me of like the tech oligarchs right now, right? Because he wants to start his own, Curtis Yarvin little fiefdom kingdom in another part of the world, and where he can get away from all the other demands of society that for people who aren't up to his acumen or his intelligence. I enjoyed Holt a lot as well in this. What about you, Jamal? How'd you have Holton as Luthor?
So what they did with this that I really liked is sometimes, as you said, with other bad guys. They'll give it to the point where it's like, I kind of agree with him. To not ruin anything for people who haven't seen the movie yet, the scene in the cage where he interrogates Superman, how that plays out lets you know that he is not a redeemable character.
Yeah.
Some of the other aspects, like some other bad folks in some movies, there's a question. Well, we're like the Thanos question. Well, maybe he was right. It's like, well, if he could snap his fingers and wipe out half of the universe to make sure that the resources are there with Thanos, why can't he snap his fingers and make sure the resources are there for everybody in the universe?
Yeah.
There's not that moral, maybe he was right. There was a, I kind of agree. He's kind of cool. He's kind of, no, this is not a good guy. And it doesn't leave any questions for it. It's like, yeah, he is the bad guy he's supposed to be, and this is the line too far.
Yeah, agreed. Matt, do you have any thoughts on Holt as well as Luthor?
Yeah, I enjoyed Nicholas Hoult as Luthor. I think, you don't necessarily get a lot of why Luthor is the way he is, and I don't know, I kind of remembered the Luthor lore. Maybe I would have wanted a little bit more of that to what his motivations were, other than just the fact that he's, crazy and evil and rich, right? But maybe that's enough. But I think overall, I thought he was quite entertaining as the foil, and definitely came off as an irredeemable scumbag, as Jamal said.
Yeah, I mean, Hackman's still the GOAT, but I did enjoy Holt a lot in this. A couple of side notes I had too. I did love Crypto. As a dog person, that was a lot of fun, and it's nice to see Jimmy Olsen shift a little bit here, becoming a babe magnet and not being assassinated in the first 20 minutes of the film, which I think is nice. And what do you think too of the shift, Matt, in the Kryptonian message? I guess that's a bit of a John Byrne, I think, move. Was they sent Superman here to basically be super powered and then eventually kind of just maybe benevolently run the planet because he'd be able to do stuff. And I don't know. I thought that was an interesting little shift, especially with a nice little surprise cameo appearance there.
Yeah, I don't know if I loved it, right? It seemed to hit a little too close to home for, like, Invincible for me, right? I mean, it's basically the same premise. I don't know. I think I still kind of go back to the, we talked about Superman Returns. I mean, whatever you think about the movie, and it's not great, but that's still one of the greatest trailers of all time, right? And the whole kind of Marlon Brando selfless sacrifice thing that kind of, like, set his kind of way of thinking and all that kind of stuff. I would have preferred to have kept that. I understand why they did it as a twist and they kind of introduced conflict, but I probably could have done without it personally.
Jamal, any thoughts?
I liked it. I liked the fact that they expanded out on it. It also was from the beginning to the end of the movie, it was it was used as a character growth piece. It was his North Star in the beginning. He has that twist happen, and then you see that he reaches for it. They bring up the North Star at the end, and you see the light has changed a little bit. So it's kind of a growth piece. And it goes along with the Smallville scene and the conversation he had with Jonathan Kent.
Exactly. I did love the ending, too. I love Iggy Pop, and I've enjoyed that Teddy Bear song. So it's like it's nice to get that little publicity is the word I'm looking for as well. And the other thing, too, speaking of music, which is the one thing I was surprised by, is how forgettable the score is. Independent of the times John Williams' score kind of gets interwoven in, outside of that, I was kind of underwhelmed by the music in this film. And it felt more like the MCU films, which I've never really cared for any of, where they're just scene scaffolding and they don't really have any kind of rousing kind of moments. And I was a little disappointed in that. I don't know. Jamal, as an actual resident musician there, what were your thoughts on that? Anything jump out at you there?
Surprisingly, there were some things that popped. Like, I don't remember the name of it, but the song that played when Mr. Terrific had his moment. But normally, when you think of a James Gunn film, you can name 3 or 4 scenes during the course of one movie where there is a drop where the scene happens. There's the scene in Guardians where they get the ship up and running and the music's playing. There's the beginning where you meet Star-Lord and there's the dance. There's somebody said it, there's the Uga Shaka moment where you hear that. But there wasn't a huge connector. There was no fine young gentleman from like Star Trek, where he says, for those who haven't seen Star Trek, the new one, where he goes, "She took me for everything but my bones," and then you're like, whoa. And then the music plays, and it does two things. It gives Bones his nickname, but then it also plays that piece of music that kind of sticks with you for the rest of the Star Trek movie. There was nothing, you're right, there was nothing truly spectacular except for, oh, hey, I remember the John Williams piece. There's nothing that really super stood out for you.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? Anything for that? And were you happy that they made Superman a pop punk fan?
Sure, although I like how they made up all the pop punk, even though whatever they're called, like
the McCrae's,
the angry crab juices, or
yeah,
whatever the hell
the
they
mighty
were called.
Crab Joy.
The mighty Crab
Joys,
who actually was just like James Gunn and some friends writing songs.
Yep, they had a song at the end over the credits, right? So, yeah, I hesitate, right? I mean, the John Williams score is so iconic, so I mean, of course, it's easy just to kind of rest on its laurels and just kind of use it to, you know, kind of get the feels and everything like that. But man, I kind of wish they just use it straight up, right? I mean, as opposed to the versions and the kind of leitmotifs of it being there. But I just thought the music was just okay. There was a drop. I forget what it was. It was some 70s song that took on for a long time, but I forget even what it was or when it was. But I remember saying, "There's the James Gunn drop right there."
I think that was the Mr. Terrific scene.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. It was Mr. Terrific when he was kicking some ass. That's right. That was that scene.
Oh, to go back,
Please.
one of the things that came up, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she went to see it, and she's like, I was looking for escape. I was like, oh. And it goes back to what you said, where it was like, you know, it's kind of topical. And one of the scenes that I brought up, because it did the reach back as far as Silver Age, but it also had some of that solid Kirby, like the Plasma River was a solid, I could see that in a Jack Kirby panel, where he's being taken,
and New Gods, I should say.
Yeah, where it's going to the New Gods. If you had seen like some small, like, I'm happy he didn't do it, where you saw something that was like a hint of apocalypse out there, that would have made perfect sense. Like, we're not going deep into this, but like his fighting partner who was able to stand up against him, if he got sucked into that black hole and ended up on Apocalypse, that would explain one of the possible future versions of it coming back. But yeah, when he was in that Plasma River, I was like, oh, this is an up-to-date Jack Kirby panel. So they're reaching for that too.
Yep. All right, final thoughts, gentlemen. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, overall, I think it's worth your time. I think I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it's a good solid entry, kind of a return to some kind of form for the DC films, and I think you'll enjoy it if you like comic book films and if you're into Superman especially. I mean, the little kid that was sitting in front of me was declaring it was the best movie he ever seen, so who am I to argue with that, right?
Good for him. Jamal?
I agree. One of the things that I think will happen, I remember when Francis Ford Coppola had Dracula come out with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves. And I hated that movie. Because, well, when I was watching it, it was so dense. But upon repeat viewings and being able to dissect and pull things apart and go, oh, I missed that because I was expecting this. And, okay, that movie has now become one of my go-to, or not favorite, but a movie I really enjoy watching now. With the amount of things that are in this movie is designed for repeat viewings and finding things that you like up on those repeat viewings. This movie will get better the more you watch it.
And that's kind of what happened to me. I walked out of it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I actually enjoyed that, and it's kind of what I've been waiting for. And as the days have gone by, I've started to appreciate it more and more and more. So, what do I want to say? It's it's the emotional kind of. It's just. I'll just put it this way: my Superman is back. He's as relevant now as he's ever been, and I'm just happy to kind of see where the next 10, 15 years are going to go with this character and this potentially expanded universe. I hope it continues to do well financially, and we get to see all of this stuff. But it's such a relief for me. I am clearly biased, so when I say that I'm giving this an A-, which I am, it's because of my bias with Superman. But it's pretty much what I was hoping for. Maybe a little muddled at times, a little overstuffed. But the more I sit with it, the happier it makes me. And I guess that's all I can really ask for. Jamal, give me a grade.
This is a solid. I have to see it again, and I'll tell you the other reason why. It's a solid B+ because I saw it on a smaller screen. How does that affect it? Since the pandemic, when nobody was going to theaters, I invested in a bigger TV. And then I have myself set up with my own setup. So for me to go to the movies right now, it is very rare, and I want something more. So I saw it on one of the smaller side screens because it wasn't as packed. And if I'd seen it on a bigger screen, I would have appreciated it more, which is why I can give it a solid B+. If I had seen it on like a bigger or an IMAX screen, probably an A, just because of the amount of movie that would have been coming in to me. That makes sense.
It does. I saw it in the IMAX, so I think I can agree with that. Matt?
I'm going to give it a B. I thought it was very solid. Jury's still out on see how much I love it, but maybe I'll like it more as we progress. And because my AMC, like a bunch of jerks, are redoing the IMAX, I had to watch it in Dolby, and it was still really good.
Fair enough. If you had a chance to see Superman, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Because sadly, Matt, love and kindness now is punk, apparently.
It is.
So here we are. All right, let's keep rolling then. And let's talk about what's coming up on physical media. Wait, one last thing. Trunks. I love the trunks. I was very happy with it. I thought the costume looked great. Any last thoughts on the costume? Are you guys good? Matt?
I thought it looked good. I thought it was bright. I liked the trunks. I thought it was good.
Jamal?
I enjoyed the performance in the film so much that it wasn't an issue. It was one of those things where if the movie was to the point where I was thinking, he's got those damn trunks on, they lost me. But I didn't even really think about it until I left, and I was like, oh wow, suit looked pretty good. After all the complaints everybody put in, 30 seconds after the first picture came out, this is going to be horrible, it's the worst movie ever. You don't even notice it because you get pulled into the story and dragged along for the rest of the film. You don't get a chance to breathe and understand what's happening.
Yeah, there you go. It's nice not having to look at sculpted muscles. It's nice to have just like a costume. It was good.
Oh, if I want to do that, I'll sit in front of my mirror.
I did pick up the popcorn tin, the Daily Planet popcorn tin. I was very, very happy about this. I have this one and like the bat signal light.
That is awesome.
One they did when the Batman came out, but it's pretty cool.
Oh, by the way, you know where this is headed. I mean, you asked about the 10 to 15 years. You know where this is headed because in a lot of his tweets since he's been there, when he responds to things, he responds with the same photo. If this works out, in 15 years, we will be going to see Kingdom Come in the theater.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, his S is the Kingdom Come S on the.
And think about a lot of his tweets when he's like, "There are some things coming." It is the Kingdom Come Justice League where Superman is standing there with the black S. That's where we're headed. I hope.
That's a great story, but you want to talk about dense? Holy shit!
Yes.
They want to do a lot of ground. That is not a casual comic book or film. So I'll be interested to see if they can pull that off. That's
why I say 15 years because it's going to take all this time to build it to get there. And right before the 2-year lull before that movie comes out, I think that's where we'll get. For anybody who hasn't read Kingdom Come, it's been out for years. I think that's where we'll get the Joker gassing the Daily Planet, and then we start up Kingdom Come with him out in the field, and then we just go for that ride for the rest of the film that we've been prepped for over these next few years with the TV shows and the movies and the cartoons. And that if everything works out for the best, that's how I want James Gunn to end his run in the DC universe with Kingdom Come.
That would be nice. I hope this all works out. I'm a little concerned about oversaturation because of the shows and everything else, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, Star Wars has had its hit and misses. I'm in the middle of Andor, which I'm absolutely adoring right now. So I guess it depends on the quality of the particular product. If you're interested in picking listen, there's a really nice looking steelbook already available for pre-order for Superman. I did pre-order it off of Groove. Remember, ship 20, you get 20% off. And if you have a Gmail, if you have a dot, you move the dot in your email, and you can get the 20% off every time you buy something. But that's sold out on Groove already. So if you can find it someplace and you're interested in it, it's basically Fortress of Solitude, and it looks really sharp. So you may want to jump on that. And I guess that's enough, right? Almost 40 minutes of Superman talk. About 35 when we're all said and done here. Coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday, July 22nd. What's coming up? Oh, the source of one of my favorite drops is getting a 4K release from Arrow. Enjoy this.
I got a bomb here. I'll kill her. I'll blow this whole place up.
Go ahead. I don't shot her. Hey, just relax, amigo. You want to talk? We'll talk. I'm a sucker for good conversation.
I don't want to talk to you. Now you bring in the television cameras in here now. Come on, bring it in.
Can't do that.
Why?
I don't deal with psychos. I put them away.
I ain't no psycho, man. I'm a hero. You're looking at a fucking hunter. I'm a hero of the new world.
You're a disease, and I'm the cure.
Yeah. Stallone and Cobra is being released by Arrow in 4K. There's a deluxe edition and then a traditional one as well. I get a brand new restoration on that from the original camera negative, and brand new audio commentaries, interviews, a TV version of the film, which has deleted and alternate scenes in it, presented for the first time on home video, but it's standard definition. And a bunch of archival featurettes as well. But whenever Matt gets excited, I always have that, hey, relax, amigo, clip ready to go. So, but yeah, a truly horrible film, but one of the best of Stallone's lesser-known 80s movies, just because how bad it is. It is a lot of fun. And what else we got coming up here? Counting down. I don't have my, hold on, my sheet isn't ready. There it is.
Number 5.
I'm going to go with Fight or Flight. This is the Josh Hartnett film where he plays a mercenary who takes on a job for tracking down a target on a plane but must protect her when they're surrounded by people trying to kill them. I hear it's actually kind of cartoonishly fun in its fight scenes and everything, so it might be worth checking out. Couldn't find any special features on that, though. But I do want to catch up with Fight or Flight.
4.
Ash is being released, which I think will be available on Shudder if it's not already. This is the one with Aaron Paul and Elsa Gonzalez. She wakes up on a distant planet, finds the whole crew of her space station has been viciously killed, and she starts to investigate what happened. I saw this in the theater. I enjoyed it. It was different. It was interesting. It's definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. I don't know if I'd rush to buy it, but if you have Shudder, definitely give it a view.
Get 3 coffins ready.
Final Destination Bloodlines is being released just recently out. I think Matt and I both really enjoyed that one. Probably one of the better films in the series. Includes an audio commentary and a few making of featurettes. It's some really good kills in that one too. Matt, how are you? Matt, I meant to say Jamal. Are you a fan of the Final Destination films at all?
I have not seen them. By the time the first ones came out, I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I think the last time I was in... the last time I saw a movie where it was just like horror movie and teenagers, it was Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. Yeah, I think all the Final Destination films, independent of this new one, of course, are available to stream on Max. Excuse me, HBO Max right now.
For now. Not right now. For now.
That's true. Next up.
I have 2 words. Perfect love and perfect trust.
It's going to be a Blu-ray from Shout Factory, but it is a 4K transfer from the 35 millimeter intrapositive. Includes audio commentaries and deleted scenes, as well as a music video, and I'm very excited about this because I only have it on DVD, so I will be upgrading this. Strangers with Candy, the movie, is being released by Shout Factory. I adored that show. My wife looks at me and wonders if I should be restrained or something whenever I watch it, because I find that show so funny, and she is not a fan of it at all. But I'm very excited to check that out. And then finally,
there can be only one.
I think it includes all the original music stuff being released by, is it Universal Television? In 4K, the complete series, including the 2000 TV movie. Some episodes include commentary by the legendary star. Knight Rider, the complete series, being released on Blu-ray as well. If I can get this at a good price, I may jump on it. It's selling for about $120 right now, but I just remembered the scenes with like him and Garth Knight when he would play the dual roles of the guy who's just go to YouTube and search Knight Rider like Garth Knight. There's a whole thing of like the best of, and seeing Hasselhoff at the top of his powers is so much fun to watch. Knight Rider was like my show as a kid. And a great theme song too. So, people don't really seem to remember Street Hawk. Do you guys remember Street Hawk at all?
No, I don't remember Street Hawk.
Nobody remembers Street Hawk. Same thing, but with a motorcycle, basically. It was like a souped-up motorcycle, and Rex Harrison, who was a soap opera star at the time, he was... All right, doesn't matter. Tangerine Dream did the theme song for it, actually, too.
Ooh.
Street Hawk song, if you're unfamiliar with the Street Hawk theme, look that up. That thing rocks.
Nice.
Also coming out in 4K, Serenity from Firefly.
Okay.
The movie's getting released in 4K. Kino Lorber is putting out a couple films. Danger Diabolique, or Diabolic, brand new 4K restoration of that, and as well as The Silent Scream is being released by Kino. Criterion is putting out a couple films. You Can Count on Me and Carnal Knowledge in 4K. And then for me, I'm really excited about this one. Actually, I'm so excited I already bought it. Arrow is putting out The Stuff in 4K. This is the classic Larry Cohen film with the people they eat the little stuff that looks like yogurt and it actually consumes you from the inside out. Some really fun horror gore effects in that one. And I had the Blu-ray, but I traded it in to buy this because this special edition comes with the pre-release version of the film, which is 30 minutes of additional footage with different music. And it's called the pre-release cut of The Stuff. So I'm excited to check that out. Your Viper video pick of the week, I'm going to go with the Jurassic Games Extinction. I wonder what we're aping here. Contestants complete to the death in virtual reality, battling dinosaurs after being forced into a game by authorities in a dystopian future. Oh, I forgot one other thing. They just announced it today. I've been waiting 5 years for this, if not longer. Del Toro was talking about how he had a black and white version of Nightmare Alley. And it was going to release it, never released it. Criterion announced today that in October, they're releasing Nightmare Alley in 4K. Not only are you getting the theatrical version in 4K, you're getting the black and white version, which I think is 20 minutes longer, and it's a director's cut.
So did they, with this one, because I know they did it with Godzilla, they didn't just go, let's strip all the color out and just release this. They went through and regraded it for the black and white.
I don't know. All I know is that Del Toro has a black and white version of the film that's longer as well. And if it's Del Toro, I'm going to watch it. I've laid off of buying this in 4K. I don't know how many times because I knew this was coming at some point, and they finally announced it. They're also putting out A History of Violence, one of my favorite Cronenberg films, in 4K as well in October, as well as a couple other stuff too. I think Altered States, and I'm blanking on the other two. All right, Matt, what should we be streaming this week?
So I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you check out the OG, Christopher Reeve Superman, the original. It's available on HBO Max. Go check it out and then tell us what you think.
Good times. All right, folks, let's wrap up this behemoth of a show. This Goliath. That's a Knight Rider callback because Goliath was the big truck that Garth would drive. And then there was Car. Remember the evil version of Kid?
I do remember Car. Yeah, with the yellow voice box.
Yeah. See.
Bum,
All right, let's hash out the 2010s.
Yeah.
Of horror films. This didn't make the cut for me. Maybe Matt will try and force it in there. I don't know. I really enjoy it. I remember being shocked by how good it was because I thought, well, you can't remake this classic film, but I think they did a pretty good job.
Let's not go crazy over this, okay? We'll bury those dead cats out back later.
Yeah. Smell will be gone in no time.
Yeah, okay. And what about the voodoo shit they did down there? Huh?
No. Voodoo is more about dolls, personal artifacts. This is something different.
That's enough. You shouldn't have touched anything from that basement.
I don't know how many times we're going to tell you people, do not touch the book that's wrapped in human skin and bound with different kind of, spiky, what do they call it? Barbed wire. Thank you. And then start reading the incantations in it because you're just going to draw demons up from the pit of hell. That, of course, is Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead remake, which, again, is probably better than it has any right to be. But I don't know, Matt. I was a little hesitant to include it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I thought you were a big fan of that film, but...
I am, but when I looked at the other stuff, and I have to stick it down to 8, I feel like there are ones that I enjoyed more so than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, I'll run down. What do I have? I have 6 here for sure, and then we can kind of go from there. I am looking at Green Room, which I know is going to be on your list.
Yeah, I was just debating whether it fits as a horror film, but if you're down, I'm down because that movie is great.
Absolutely, I think so. I have The Invitation.
Okay.
Karen Kurosama's film.
Mm-hmm.
I have Under the Skin.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Glazer's film with ScarJo.
Yep.
Get Out.
Yep.
Really?
It Follows, which is definitely going to be on this list. And then I have Hereditary.
Okay.
Those are, like, for me, I think the ones we have to put on there.
So with Under the Skin, so you consider that more of a horror? Oh, that's right, because you don't find out until, for those who haven't seen it. Yeah, I guess that would fall into more of the horror than the other aspect. It would fall into, I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody who's seen it. So, yeah.
I mean, I could make an argument maybe if it's a science fiction movie or
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a science... To me, I mean, it is definitely horrifying, and I guess it's more... I mean, I would still call Alien or The Thing a horror movies, right? And they're about aliens, so I would probably still put that one on there. All right, so how many... So, okay, so Get Out, Hereditary. I know I'm like the one person in the world who didn't think Get Out is as great as everybody makes it out to be. It's good, but it's not great.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I'll see you guys later. You have
I've driven Jamal off. And I think what you didn't list, I really like The Witch. I would like to see it on the list, personally. And I kind of feel like we need to throw a Mike Flanagan joint on here.
Oculus,
what are you going with?
No, not Flanagan did direct Oculus, did he?
Yeah, Oculus. He did Ouija Origin of Evil, which I think is way better than it has any right to be. Same thing with Oculus, really. How scary can a movie about a haunted mirror be? But he succeeds. So I don't know. What do you think? Jamal, do you have a preference among Mike Flanagan's 2010 output?
So, when you said Flanagan, the only thing that came to mind was Oculus because... the sci-fi Pond. She played Nebula. Karen Gillan was in it.
Karen Gillan, yeah.
And Gillan, and I just remembered her from Doctor Who, and there was a whole thing where it's like Flanagan loved her in the Doctor Who thing, and it's like, hey, I'm going to write this. It'd be great if she were in it. And lo and behold, he was able to get her to be in the movie.
Sure.
So that's the only way. I haven't seen it. I just know about it.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like Midsommar and The Loved Ones and
we're not.
I Saw the Devil are all better than any of the Flanagan films.
I know. Well, we're not gonna put on multiple Ari Aster films on this thing. So I mean, if you want Hereditary, there's no way we're putting a lesser Hereditary and Midsummer on there. So yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So you do. What about you, Jamal? What do you think? Have you seen Hereditary and Midsommar? Do you have a preference between
I haven't seen the two.
Okay.
I was going to ask a question because I can't remember exactly what year it came out. It might be the early aughts. Pan's Labyrinth?
That was earlier than the 2010s.
That's fine, because I was thinking, we brought up Del Toro, and I was like, could you put Pan's Labyrinth on there? But it was too early.
Yeah.
What about the Fright Night reboot? I like that a lot with Colin Farrell.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But I like it because of Farrell more than anything else.
That's very true. So what else? This is what else I had, and let's just see if anything
ahead.
leaps out at you. These were just kind of honorable mentions that we haven't talked about. The Babadook, Train to Busan, Ouija, Origin of Evil, Oculus, Sinister.
Yeah.
And then, I don't think we can put it on here, but I do want to mention it, that the American adaptation of Let the Right One In, Let Me In is still really good.
It is. It's not as good, but it is good.
Yeah.
Oh, how about the remake of Suspiria with Tilda Swinton?
Was that in 2010s? Did I miss that?
I think it was right before the pandemic hit, because MoviePass was still out. And it was when everybody was struggling to go see a movie.
2018.
Yeah. Suspiria. That was the only thing I can think of. I was like, oh, I'm going to go see this because I had no idea. And Border? No, that's more fantasy. So never mind. It's not horror. It's more fantasy.
I want to throw this one out there. This was actually on my list, and I just completely glazed over it. The Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I have that here too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you would consider that horror or horror comedy, and if there was a difference.
Yeah, other honorable mentions I had, just to throw them out there too, is Crawl, Ari Aster's alligator movie, Us, Mandy, The Conjuring 2, which I think is still my favorite out of all of them. You said Sinister. You don't think you've seen The Loved Ones. Raw, Darker Now is Raw, the cannibal movie, which I enjoy. And again, no love for I Saw the Devil either, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that film.
I'm good with Suspiria. Lucas Suspiria, no, not for you, huh? All right.
I mean, it's good. Yeah, I did like the Suspiria remake. I did like it, especially, some of that witchcraft scene. But I really love Cabin in the Woods. I kind of want to be on there.
Damn.
I'll give it to you if you want. You want it to be the final one?
Yes.
It's not going to make it to anywhere through for me, but I'll give it to you. Yeah, as an honorable mention.
Yeah, but I mean, the Suspiria wouldn't make it past the first round for me either, so.
All right. So, now our matchup's good for you? So right now I just have the Green Room and The Invitation, which I think kind of works.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Under the Skin and Get Out, which I guess is almost a literal thing, right? Because one is...
Yeah, actually.
It Follows, Hereditary, The Witch in the Cabin in the Woods. I feel like maybe we could... Do we move either of those around or no?
We could move The Witch against Hereditary. That seems to fit. That seems to... I don't know why, it just seems to fit better. As more that prestige-y horror kind of stuff.
Yeah. Careful now. You want to start any fights by saying the word elevated horror. People get worked up.
But here's the thing about her... I guess we'll talk about it when we get there.
What did I lose? I lost something. It Follows.
Yeah, It Follows.
The problem is, I'm using two different devices. So I have my MacBook, but the application, my docking station that I use for this, everything is it's backwards. So
Gotcha.
I can't. My hotkeys don't work either. And I just started using this thing, so I'm not adjusted to it yet. Which makes no sense if you're listening to this, what I'm telling you. All right, so where do we start, Matt?
Well, let's start at the ends, because I think those are probably the least of the controversial ones. So I think we're going to put It Follows above Cabin in the Woods.
I think it's a safe assumption.
Yeah.
Jamal, have you seen It Follows?
No, I've seen Cabin in the Woods, but I haven't seen It Follows.
Remedy that as quickly as possible.
I've seen the bits and pieces of It Follows, and once again, for me, from what I've seen, without digging deep, it still seems to be a bit darker than Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, Lionsgate just announced a Steelbook 4K exclusive to their website of It Follows. But Matt, I tell you, it doesn't have any new. I think any of the features it has, everything is already on the Second Sight one, and I think there's more on the Second Sight one.
But I guess the question is, do I own even it in 4K? And if I don't, then I know what to do.
Yeah. All right. I'm saying the Second Sight 4K. You can't get the box set that I have is sold out.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still get the standalone version.
Okay.
And I think it was your birthday a few weeks ago.
It was.
Happy belated.
Happy birthday. That's what I should have done. Is I should have sent you It Follows in 4K.
Oh, you should have. It's all right.
Maybe
It's the later thought that counts.
That's right. All right, then you want to go back up to the top now? Green Room and the Invitation, like you said?
Yeah. I mean, I personally would go Green Room because that movie is freaking great. I love fucking Green Room.
Yeah, Green Room is fantastic, but I don't want to sleep on The Invitation.
No, it's good.
Karen Kurosawa's film with Logan Marshall is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this slow burn. If you're not familiar, this couple is invited to a dinner party with their friends who they haven't spoken to in a while. And they're just there, and there's an announcement that they have, and everything goes to hell from there. And but the slow burn of it is great as you're trying to figure out what's happening. Why is everybody at this party? And it's phenomenal. If you haven't seen The Invitation, you should check it out right away.
Have you seen Green Room, Jamal?
No, I have. So that's why I'm quietly not saying anything about these two.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen them.
Yeah, so Green Room is about it's about a punk band.
That's the one with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I haven't seen it. I have it stored aside as something to see.
Yeah.
So I will check that out. And it does
Stewart
look
is great in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is scary as hell. And it's brutal as hell too. It is really rough.
If I remember correctly, why am I blanking on Saulnier. Jeremy Saulnier directed it, and he went to Gaspar Noé after I think Irreversible to see like how can I make like the violence and the gore effects in this as realistic as possible, and they pull it off.
Yeah,
because that film is Green Room is rough. All right, Under the Skin and Get Out.
Here's a surprise for me. Under the Skin. I've seen them both, and if I have to go on the straight up horror factor between the two, I would go Under the Skin because I was still trying to figure it out. Get Out kind of also gives you a nice out at the end. Under the Skin gives you no comfort at all.
Yeah,
Matt.
You know, I would agree with Jamal. I prefer Under the Skin. It is unsettling. It kind of keeps you off balance the whole time. Just the kind of way it's even structured, like with Scarjo going out and interviewing, talking to real people, like, and they don't seem to recognize who she is, and the way they kind of created this thing. But man, it is surreal and it's weird, and yeah, it sticks with you. It gets under your skin, if you will.
Oh, Get Out, the cultural phenomenon that it was, and basically launched Jordan Peele as a director to be reckoned with here. But I'm inclined to agree with both of you. And then I think what puts it over the top for me is Mika Levy's score.
Yes.
Which is hypnotic and unsettling and terrifying. So I agree with you.
For the horror aspect, for which movie would I rather see in general? Possibly Get Out. But if it were going with straight horror and which one scares the living hell out of me, Under the Skin.
Yeah, that seems to be the criterion too we keep returning back to. The Witch or Hereditary, Matt?
So I want to say The Witch. I much
You're wrong.
prefer. Let me finish. It is. I much prefer The Witch.
Cage match.
I love actually watching The Witch, and it is a masterclass of atmosphere and how creepy it is. Hereditary is horrifying, and I hate it so much. And like I own it, and it left me breathless after I watch it. But I'm like, I like flip through my 4Ks and stuff, and I'm like, no, I don't want to watch this. Like I don't want to watch it because it's that of a tough watch. But if we're talking about a true horror film, I would have to say Hereditary, even though it pains me to say it because I hate it so much.
Haven't seen either.
You haven't? All right. Well, yeah. I obviously think Hereditary is the way to go here. Just deeply, deeply unsettling. Toni Collette, I think too. I know there was a lot of talk about it at the time. I do agree that she should have been nominated for an Academy Award for that performance. She is so broken in that film and so just heart lost and everything. And then the way Ari Aster just shoots that thing and all the horror in it, the use of darkness and blacks and shadows and everything, it's a really unsettling film.
Yeah, it's messed
all right.
up.
So we're down to back to the top, Green Room and Under the Skin.
I think I have to say Under the Skin. I love.
Really?
I do. Yeah. I think overall, as an experience of a vision of kind of like this warped nightmare sense of horror, I find it to be much more unsettling than Green Room. Green Room is great. It's very suspenseful. But it is something that could happen, right? I mean, Under the Skin it's so fantastical that it can give you these images, these things that are just so much worse than what you're seeing on Green Room.
Interesting.
From what I know, I haven't seen Green Room, but for Under the Skin for me is the equivalent of being sort of catfished and then trapped in a horrid relationship that you cannot get out of. So that is ultimate terror. It's like, if I leave, I'm going to die. Oh, I can't leave. I'm going to die anyway. That's the existential terror of Under the Skin for me.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm shocked, Matt, you went with this, but I think I agree. It's that film, I know it's a phrase I think we've used perhaps in the past, maybe too much, but that film is like a living, walking nightmare. Like you're in a nightmare. And the way it's shot, but how it also just, I think I said a few times now too, it keeps you off balance. You feel kind of unmoored the entire time you're watching that thing. And it is a really unsettling kind of experience. So I would go with Under the Skin as well. And then Hereditary and It Follows.
So I will say, going back to our last thing, I do, obviously have some integrity, Chris, that I recognize. And I'm going to throw that out the window now. I'm going to go with It Follows over Hereditary. Because like I said, Hereditary is just a brutal pummeling of your emotions throughout the whole damn thing. And it's incredibly well done. It's incredibly well acted. It is just so messed up on so many levels that I hate watching it with a passion. I cannot tell you how much I don't like watching that film because there's just so much wrong with it.
Yeah.
It Follows is incredibly suspenseful. It's very creative the way they do it. I like that it's just a kind of a simple, straight up monster film, and it's just more of the type of enjoyable horror. Like, it's fun to be scared while you're watching this thing, and it's building your dread. But I will watch It Follows every single day and twice on Sunday than I would ever consider watching Hereditary again.
Yeah. I agree with you. And one of the things I love about It Follows is that it has this 80s throwback feel to it. The score by Disaster Piece is one of my favorites of the decade. I like Mika Levy's Under the Skin. In fact, probably my two favorite film scores of that decade are now head to head, Under the Skin and It Follows. But it is just peak kind of 80s synth horror. It's like John Carpenter possessed this guy when he made the score. But it is, like Matt said, it's unrelenting. Because I remember when I tell people about the film when it first came out, just retelling the story, I would start to get goosebumps about it. That's how much, because it's such a simple concept, but it is so clever and it's so well done. And I agree with It Follows. So there you go, Matt. Under the Skin and It Follows. What's it going to be?
I know what I'm going to pick. I'd be curious. I've gone first now a couple times, so I'd be curious to see what you think, Chris.
I got to go with rewatchability and go with It Follows. It's the one that I've come to over and over again. Under the Skin, I think I've only watched twice. That includes the first time I saw it in the theaters. It Follows, I've seen about 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like a holiday tradition. It's fun in that kind of watching a horror movie kind of way, and it really captures the 80s for me, at least not like aesthetically, but just the filmmaking style. And it also has these weird little things with like the little compact reader, right, that just kind of subtly throws you off as to like, where is this? When is this happening? Type of a thing, right? It's a simple story, it's a simple concept, but it's so effectively done that I'm going to go with It Follows in the end.
Wow, I'm glad to see we're on the same page. I'm going to go with It Follows as well, basically for the same reasons. Under the Skin is great. It is definitely, like Chris said, a living nightmare, or a nightmare thrown up on the screen. But It Follows is just a lot of fun, very clever, very suspenseful, and even just like just even the way they do their shots, right? I mean, you're waiting, looking in the background at all things, waiting to see where the creature is or where the one person following is, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that just sounds horrifying. Just hearing it sound, if it's like, oh, don't worry, but you're waiting, you don't know which one is. No, I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
Yeah,
thanks.
it's great.
Thanks, I'm good. So that begs a question, because a lot of other folks lately, they don't really critique movies. They claim to like watching movies, but they like to talk about other aspects. When it comes down to films, this is a question for the both of you. Are there? Of course, we know that there are movies that don't look great, but we like them because of the way the story's written. Are there movies that you really don't like because the story's just not great, but they are shot so well that you find yourself watching it again for the aspect ratios, for the colors, just for what the film has to offer other than the story?
The one that pops up in my head immediately is that I think it's probably still my favorite of the run, but it's because it's the best looking one. And it is the best looking film, I think, in the entire franchise. And that's Skyfall.
Ooh.
James Bond film.
It's
shot by Roger Deakins.
I was about to say Deakins shot that thing.
And that film is gorgeous. Though I have some issues with it, the ending of it, I'm not a big fan of. And I hate Inspector that they made him his half brother or his adopted brother. It's so bad.
Oh wait,
but
I thought that one was. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You hated Inspector. That they Oh yes,
that they did that Inspector. But it's the best looking film in the entire franchise,
yes.
And that's what stands out to me about Skyfall is just how beautiful it is. Out of everything to take out of that film, I don't know. That's just the first thing that jumped in my head. Matt, do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are, but I'm struggling to think of one at the moment, right? Because I'm such a curmudgeonly old man at this point. I only watch stuff that I think either that I haven't seen or that I know I like, because I just, I only have so many days left right at this point, right?
Right. What about you, Jamal? Is there anything that falls into that category for you?
There are a couple movies that I hate. Like, I hate watch all of the Pitch Black movies. But I own them. And that the problem with the third one was that it was too CGI heavy for me, where, it's the beginning. But the movie that I keep coming back to, that typically if I'll see it, I will watch it. And this is different. This is more for some of the, family broken story, is Ang Lee's Hulk. Because Ang Lee has never really made a terrible looking film. And there's always something redeemable about that film. Someone else brought it up. One of the things about movies, like, I wasn't here for the Brave New World Captain America discussion. Is that a great film? No. But are there some aspects of the movie where you can see where it's like, there's some aspects of this that would have been really nice. Like, if you ask me, comic book fan, the Hulk Captain America fight, like, that's 5 minutes that I will carve out to watch that 5-minute fight and be good until they get to the cherry blossoms where it's all just CGI trash. But I will watch that. Like, there are parts of that breakdown. There are parts of movies that we've gotten so polarized where this whole movie sucks or this is terrible, to where there's a movie that you can name right now, even if it's not just the way it's shot or the aspect ratios. I mean, not every movie is going to be like In the Mood, where it's just gorgeous all throughout, or like the Trois Color series, where it's just like, oh, this is red all throughout, or blue or white. There's always, at least for some decent directors, a 5 or 6 minute piece of film that makes the rest of the movie worthwhile, even though it's not great.
No, that's true. There's a lot of stuff that may have just a couple really great, fantastic scenes. Yeah, like you're saying, and the whole film, though, doesn't really come together. All right, so in case you're wondering, folks, where we are. So the 50s, we landed with Night of the Hunter. The 60s, we landed with Psycho. 70s was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. 80s was The Thing. And then, let me scrolling. In the 90s, we ended up with Audition. The aughts was The Descent. In fact, Matt, I know I was supposed to watch The Descent and Let the Right One In. I have 15 minutes left to go on The Descent. And then I should be able to Let the Right One in by next week, and I'll report back. So far, though, Descent still rips. It's a little clunkier than I remember, but still, I'm rather enjoying it. And, of course, this week we have It Follows.
So wait, Texas Chainsaw Massacre beat The Exorcist? I wasn't here for that.
Yeah, because in the end, I think it's because just the sheer unrelenting horror and terror of it, where it's the almost documentary feel of it. Okay. It's just, when I think of a film that makes me feel terrified, Texas Chainsaw Massacre still works on me even to this day. When I watch The Exorcist now, since I've seen it a dozen times, I love it for the craft of it. I'm not so much scared anymore by it, but just how well it's done. But TCM, though I've seen it a dozen times, still makes me curl up and kind of, get all kind of freaked out. That's kind of been the base for every one of these. All right. There we go, folks. That's where we are. Shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. What's your favorite horror film that came out between 2010 and 2019? And then next week will be the end of the decades, where we're going to go. And of course, we only have 4.5 years to get through now for this, for the 2020s. And then after that, we will begin I guess we'll do one more, right, Matt? We can just do one more and then do everything.
Yeah.
So there we go. Feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, what's coming up next week on the big show?
I don't think anything's coming up on the big show next week. Is that correct?
Correct. We're going to take it a week off. I am turning 50 years old.
Oh, stop it. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. It's great. You've got the Reed Richards going on, man. It is awesome.
Look at that.
I hope the movie is as good as that hair.
That's, I always say the one, what is it? The one vanity in my life is that I'll be 50 and I still have a fantastic head of hair. So there you go. So we'll be back the following week, though. I think we'll be doing Fantastic Four: First Steps and Eddington, since I may force Matt to do a double feature of that. That's Ari Aster's new film. Also, too, Sovereign with Nick Offerman, Matt, I want us to catch up with at some point, too. That's supposed to be really good. So that'll probably be down the road. In the meantime, you can check us out at thefirstrun.com. Find us there, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and then Blue Sky. And do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually you'll find us. Head over to Apple Podcasts. Give us a review to help other people find the show. And that is that. Jamal, thank you so much for joining us to talk Superman and a bunch of other stuff. I hope you had a good time, and it's always great to talk to you and see you.
It's great, man. I mean, I'm hoping that we can do this again in the you know what? Let's take next year, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, unless something awesome comes out between now and then. It would be nice if something awesome did come out between now and then, but my next few things are Fantastic Four, yes, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Sounds good. Too, you can get some of Jamal's music. It's still available on Apple Music, right? iTunes? You still have stuff
yes,
out there?
There's stuff on iTunes, Apple Music. There's a blog where the books, because there are books that are out there. Those are on Amazon.com, Jamal Ford-Bey, or just Amazon.com, author Jama4. And then the blog is Malachi410.blogspot.com. And that's just a whole series of short stories. We're coming up on 200 entries, 20 years of short story writing.
Holy crap, I got to catch up. I'm way behind. All right, that sounds good. Thanks again for joining us. Everybody, thanks for listening. As always, I love you all very much. Please take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.
Haven't you ever heard that old adage? Never bet against a winner.
In the end, you will lose. In the end, you're gonna be mine.
Now it's time to cash in, huh? Say hi to your mom.